All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and we appreciate your patience as we have just now got things sorted out here for Game 2 of the night. We've got Table for 4 going up against Ornhub. I'm AJ Zero, joined here with Hook Resets to bring you this one. As we continue the SBL Season 11 storyline of finding out every week which new and exciting ways can these bottom teams play League of Legends. And I'm always excited to see what these teams can bring to the table.
Yeah, it's always good to see some bad League of Legends. Personally, I'd prefer seeing more crisp, but what are you gonna do in the Baddy League?
But speaking of potentially good League of Legends, for the second time this season, we see Ornhub with their full starting roster here, as they've had to play their sub a lot this season. They've really had to change up this roster a lot from week to week, but they are back with everyone they intended to start here, so we'll see what they can do. Meanwhile, on the other side, Table for 4, you may be wondering who that guy in the middle is. Captain Space Force is Adonis, is I'm Just Zach, is Zachary. When things go bad, you got to rebrand.
Yeah, they won last week.
Yeah, but he died in the jungle to a camp.
True.
And when that happens, you got to change your name and hope everyone forgets. Well, Zach, I am sorry, but I will never forget.
Now Captain Space Force looking to lead his team, blasting off into wherever they're going. Freaking against
anything.
Ornhub, who's looked a lot more solid so far.
Freg draws the Darius ban. Maybe a smart one, as we saw him almost end Coffee's career last week in that top lane. It was not pretty. 15-6 on that Darius.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Sometimes Darius is a really good champion for just punishing people who are lower level, and or not lower level, just lower rank, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, we've seen Freg. He's got a very oppressive laning phase. He struggles with the transition after that. Yeah. But on the win, a player who's never been known for winning his laning phases, so it makes sense you maybe take out that one thing that you don't like the matchup for.
Yeah.
But Table for 4, I do think, has smart bans here. They're taking away the obvious Sinister Beyblade. As we were mentioning during the last game, when somebody has a gamer tag named after a specific champion, you probably need to ban that champion. Katarina would be aforementioned Beyblade. So that one is going the hell away. But Disenchanted getting his hands onto this Irelia. I believe I heard something about this guy having like 2,000 ranked games as Irelia.
Are you sure that's not Talia? I've heard he's a Talia
or maybe it's
one
Talia.
trick.
This is what happens when you don't play League of Legends anymore. You get this shit wrong.
As soon as the Irelia rework came out, I know Disenchanted was spamming the Irelia. However, he was a Talia main before this.
It's definitely a Talia main, so forgive me. That changes everything. Smart ban on the Talia in that case.
Yeah.
And the Mighty Wolf forced all the way down his pick pool to the Xayah, which has been a pretty all-time Mighty Wolf pick. And then they're also picking up the Pike to pair with it.
Ooh, the Pike early, that's very greedy in lane. I'm kind of surprised they would even pick that blind, because it's got a lot of bad matchups. We saw it last week on TFF's, or not Table for Die the Fountains played Pike against this team, TFF, and they kind of just smashed them with like really long range. Nautilus, not so long range, but
yeah, but you want to talk about bad matchups? Any two players on Table for 4 against the Mighty Wolf and Sensory GG.
True.
I don't think these guys have to be concerned about whatever they're going to play against. We have not seen good bot lane out of TFF yet this season. I mean, hopefully they will at least have two players that know they're playing the bottom lane before they pick the champs today. But the Mighty Wolf is so much better at 80 carry than any player on TFF that I think I applaud the Mighty Wolf and Sensory for having the balls to just say, we know what we want, we're going to pick it, and we can take being countered, which opens up pressure for all of their teammates, because so many players in this league do not have the balls to use their skill like that in the draft to gain an advantage for their team.
Yeah, which is pretty
sad.
And then,
speaking of immediately taking your pick before the second ban phase. Last pick of the first rotation here on the win, picking up the Echo. We all saw this coming.
And it's a really smart art time to pick it. The third pick, because they can't counter pick it with the Garen that Freg historically has beaten him with, and they just get a free ban on it. I'm not sure what else they will ban, but
going on to before doing something I did like though, they took Trundle with their last pick, which could be going plenty of places right now, but we saw Thor pick that the first 3 weeks straight, and was able to do a lot to enable Ornhub, even when they were losing games. He was playing very well on that Trundle. I like forcing Thor deeper into his hero pool. I'm still not sold on Thor as a jungler, and until I see him on more champs than that Trundle, I'm going to stick with that.
He did play Camille last week, and they banned it away. This is going to be a third champion this season. Maybe a Nocturne? Yep.
Yeah, I like this. Force Thor down the pool a bit. The guy that's the furthest off of his role, I guess I have notes here. Thor, he signed up with a 7 in the jungle, so compared to the 10 in his 2 solo lanes. So, I mean, a 7 can mean a lot of different things depending on which player you're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's maybe the most logical place to attack Ornhub in the draft. A lot of these other guys are pretty known quantities. As Tibble for 4 hovers, but swaps over to Luxan.
The Lux that worked out for them last time, right?
Yeah, Lux Morgana was their bot lane last week, but it was SBL Bad Boy running that.
Morg. I guess they didn't get the memo. They should have just went the same bot lane, but
Yo, I just realized I had a crazy realization. Let's fuck this game. In the LCS, whenever somebody changes their gamer tag to be their real life name, that player is always a fucking beast, right?
Mhm.
You know, Jensen and like Darshan, etc. But whenever somebody in the SBL has their real name in their gamer tag, they're usually not very good. Why do you think that is?
I think there's not that many players, I think, that change their name decently regularly who are great. So it's a Liz pick, turns out. Okay, it's not Fizz, it's actually Lissandra.
Okay.
We're gonna remake the lobby.
Thank you for the heads up to Mighty Wolf. I think messaged like 4 different people individually there, so we'll get this quick remake. And typical me, forgot to screenshot the picks before we quit out there, so yeah. But I'm just wondering because we got Zach and Dan on the same team, and they're no Darshan or Jensen.
Yeah. Are there any other players who have their name in it?
Probably, but those are the first 2 that come out. I mean, Bjergsen's pretty close.
Is Camer close? Does Camer count at all?
Camer's close. I guess being close is better than actually having your name, which Camer is a lot closer to Bjergsen than to Zach and Dan.
You know, that is true. I don't. Other than that,
but,
I was
not this season.
But, yeah.
But even TSM's run came to. For fuck's sake.
SPL was.
He thought he was still banning. Alright, well, you know, that happens. We're not professionals here, folks. I'd work on getting us some Tournament Realm accounts with all the champs unlocked, but we're done in about 2 months, so probably not going to happen.
Never again. Well, as we run through the ban list again, I'm trying to remember the whole comp. I'm pretty sure the comp from Table for 4 is very melee focused, just with the Lux as the range. They have Irelia Jax. Jax supposedly going top lane.
Yeah, it's kind of what Table for 4 does. They don't really pick comps as much as they pick comforts. And it looks like that's what they did again this week, so we'll see who's going where in a moment.
I would assume Freg's on the Jax. Bootmaster Spiffy playing support for Gabe bot lane. Then a pretty safe lane, but Nautilus should get bullied by this Ike bot lane. The nice thing about Pyke, if your bot lane's good enough, you can just keep killing them. He does a lot of damage, has pretty good catch, but he's also kind of easy to predict if you're good.
Well, we've seen one Pyke so far this season, and it was a member of the winning team, but maybe Sensory can show us a bit more of what that champ's able to do.
Yeah. I'm excited. Sensory is a good support. He normally stays away from engaged stuff, so this is very out of his comfort zone, I'd say. But he's also he just plays anything, so I'm not too worried for him. Oh, it looks like Disenchanted will be on the Aurelia in the mid lane.
Yeah, going back to what he's played mid lane every time he's played, so that's or he's played mid lane all 4 weeks, I should say. So not super surprised there.
I think he had Aurelia bend against him last week.
Yo, Frag's got teleport.
Oh my, could it be? He's respecting the enemy top laner.
Is he respecting the enemy top laner, or is he now getting rid of the one thing that's gone well for him every week? And being able to just solo kill, feast on the enemy laner with Ignite. We'll find out in about 15 minutes.
Yeah. Echo... I don't know exactly the Echo Jax matchup. I figure Echo should just be able to wave clear it. Funny thing about Wind, he actually used to... Back in the old runes, he took a weird rune page that would give him just enough to clear the wave instantly with 2 Qs. It was like 42 AP or something stupid. And since that nerf, Echo Top, not as good. It still isn't good. It's just, it was 45 AP, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 45 AP, get your stats right. Thank God we've got Twitch chat here to correct us when we're wrong.
Yeah. Very nice.
Imagine how much better the LCS would be if, imagine Freak is yeah, I wonder what these guys are going to be ruining, and you could just type in chat, oh, yeah, I'm taking 45 AP, man.
That's...
The perks of amateur esports, my friends.
You can play whatever the heck you want, wherever the heck you want it, especially in this meta, where we see Aurelia mid lane.
Yeah, and the final nights of this garbage, hopefully. I look forward to seeing Gabe O'Neill playing a right-clicking, auto-attack-based champion next week. Hopefully. But we don't know. We don't know.
They are against I think we're just having a repeat of this week, next week, correct? Just swap sides?
Yes, I think we are doing the typical Baddy League fashion week 5 and 6 back-to-backs, which I totally had forgotten about until now. And yeah, that was confirmation we will be. So that's exciting. We always get to see these teams, how they bounce back tactically.
Or not so tactically.
And to me, it's very funny that this matchup happens to be our bottom 3 teams all playing against our top 3 teams.
Yeah. It would. I would be much more interested in seeing a 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 fight against each other instead of what was it?
Yeah, well, you can like that if you want. At this point would be pretty excited to watch 4 and 4 fight against each other, which this 3-way tie for 4th. I mean, this is a great chance for if any of these bottom 3 teams can steal a win this week or next week to separate themselves from the pack.
Yeah, and the people I'm going to be looking out for are probably Disenchanted and Freg. Freg needs to be winning lane, or he's shown that he doesn't know what to do outside of it. And the Jax is a pick where he's probably just going to be split pushing. Jax doesn't really love team fighting. He can do it, but it's no Maokai, it's no Ornn. It's just Jax pushing turrets and very rapidly if he can get ahead.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this matchup goes in the 10 to 20 minute phase, because that's usually where we start seeing Frag make a few plays where we go, what the hell is he thinking? And On the Winds typically is very good at capitalizing on mistakes like that.
Yeah, if there really were 2 players that were just the exact opposites of each other, it'd be Wind and Freg. On the Wind is so team centric. He's not crazy great in lane. He has moments, but he's much more team centric. His W's in team fights are the best Echo W's I've ever seen. And he's just really smart about it. But he does struggle in lane sometimes.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I can't think of any two players that are more opposite as players than Freg and On the Wind, and that's really exciting to get to watch in this game. I love seeing matchups like that much more so than just being like, all right, Dub Drum's beating up on My Wang in the jungle matchup because he's just him but better.
And but in the past, I think last season, Freg kind of shut down Wind. Wind was on my team. We gave him a pretty bad draft, but this time they're not letting Freg just beat him out with a counter pick like Garen. So he should be much better suited even. And yeah,
I just want to talk about, since I quit playing League of Legends, they've definitely changed Frostblade Irelia's ass.
yeah.
Come on, Riot. Some things don't need to change.
How could they have done this to our Irelia?
First Riot kills Irelia. I mean, it's still there. It's obviously a very booty-centric splash screen, but it's different, and I don't like difference. I'm a crotchety old man.
No change.
No change.
Oh no. But thinking of the Irelia matchup into the Lissandra, I actually like the Lissandra pick. It can, if he can get close enough to lock her down, pretty much the only reliable thing they have to lock her down. And if Irelia just goes off in the team fight, gets an ult, Qs everywhere, you can't do much. She's pretty unbalanced in that way.
It could make a lot of sense as this game goes on that Beyblade has a lot of tools to keep everyone off of the Mighty Wolf. And we know what happens when people aren't on top of the Mighty Wolf. He, kills everyone.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, he's pretty good at this game.
Yeah. And level 1's actually for Ornhub isn't bad. I wouldn't be surprised to see them looking for some kind of fight early. The Pike level 1 is probably one of the strongest I've seen.
Alright, well, fingers crossed. If I get to cast 2 consecutive level 1 team fights, this will be one of the best casting days of my career. But, table 4, spreading out, Ornhub, spreading out. Time is a flat circle.
Very sad. And I mean, Tale of 4's level 1 isn't even that bad either. Nautilus, pretty strong. Irelia is kind of bad, but otherwise, they could have tried.
What?
You mean on the left side?
Oh my god! You guys can't hear this, but if you change the places of the people on the scoreboard, it moves them on the left side of the screen. Riot, this should have been a feature in 2012, but better late than never. We don't have to line up the players on these teams. It doesn't matter.
They've managed. They've managed.
I should have noticed this 2 weeks ago when I was moving people around manually for this clown meta. And now I know. I'm so happy to see improvements coming to Spectator in our last season. This gives me more cause to be upset with Blizzard and their god-awful Spectator for Overwatch. But that's another rant for another time. I could go off about Spectator for 20 minutes. Instead, I want to talk about these lanes. As we're seeing Frag trade pretty on the win space here in the top lane.
I guess Frag's if he times his what is it called, Counter Strike correctly, it can mess up Echo pretty hard.
Yeah, pretty even trades here to start things out. But the level 2 coming out of the Ornhub bot lane is 50. I think it's dead.
50 dead.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's not respecting the champions.
It's not respecting level 2. It's easy. It's easy. How does this keep happening? I watch this every week. They hit level 2 first, and then if you still trade with them, they kill you.
Kind of funny how it's Nautilus again too.
Our level 2 plus 2. That equals 4. You're only level 1. That's 4 times as many levels as you. You can't fight somebody with 4 times as many levels as you in League of Legends and hope to win, but these baddie bot leaders keep doing it.
Where are all the support mains and the ADC mains in this league?
They didn't do that shit when I laned against them! I had to beat them the old-fashioned way! Now these ball leaders are just trash! I'm sorry, Smith.
Oh,
I've been
no.
watching too many bot laners do this, and I hope it stops.
He's getting traded on again.
Because you don't want to give the Mighty Wolf that kind of a lead.
Oh no. They didn't even have to use any summoners. That's the worst part. They just killed them without even ignite. They just...
Hey, at least Spiffy in game did not have to use any summoners either, so they have them to escape the next fight. But on the win, actually probably in some trouble here. He has no flash, but Frag does take low health, and the knockdown is here. I don't think he's dead, because now they're trying to get the spear, and now the flash is around, but Frag gets the kill on the Amu, but it's a trade 1-for-1, and now Thor 74 going forward gets the double kill, and that's a win for Ornhub.
That's a Nocturne getting strong. Nocturne, very scary champion. Went ahead.
Yeah, if we wanted to see if Thor can handle this champ. Oh, we may not have a chance to, since the Beyblade has to get out of this one, but the Ignite is ticking. It's so close! And the last tick, Disenchanted with the solo kill.
Oof.
There might be a table for Thor, but Disenchanted is not sitting at it. He is off on his own, and he's going to carry this one if he can.
He can. Irelia, definitely the champion to do it, too. She's so broken right now. They're nerfing her next patch, I believe. Oh no! Why? Right. Pike W. It's loud as sound, and I get to cast it again. But...
I have it lower in Windows, but on the wings, trying to bait here as not quite able to pull him into Thor's range. Wins?
Wait, not
Somebody... Oh no, it worked. The bait was successful. He even baited me. On the Win says, Frag, fuck you. You're gonna flash that champion mastery. Let me show you what a real Pokemon master looks like.
Good job from Thor realizing that Frag's gonna be playing aggressive because he can and wins.
And
it looked really bad.
Yeah, good job playing from Win there, because he was really playing with fire, and he played confidently and successfully. And there's a lot of players in this league who try to make that play and die every week.
And that's huge. Another kill. I mean, it would have... Honestly, it would have been better on Wind. This one kill deficit isn't great, but he does get some CS back. And force him to die. Frag had just teleported up, so... It's a good win for Ornhub.
Yeah, despite all this, at least Frag is currently up on gold, and EXP is barely close in that top lane. So it could definitely be going worse. But Thor is going to be tough to handle here, as no one wants to see a Nocturne that's ahead on the opposing team. And we were just saying how we want to see if Thor could handle playing a jungler. But, well, ran for another time because we got Captain in Space Force coming to the bot lane, but so is Thor 74. They've already taken out the Mighty Wolf, though, but the knockdown damage is substantial. Thor with his fourth kill of the game, and that's going to be a 1-for-1.
Jungler for ADC. Wolf didn't actually use any of his summoners there, which is a bit greedy. He might have been able to survive a little bit longer, long enough for Thor to get the fear off. Definitely the uncharacteristic mistake from him, I think. He'd get hit by a Lux Bind, though.
Yeah, maybe he thought he was dead regardless. I'll save it for the next time. As ooh, this mid lane, since the Beyblade has to ult defensively, big cooldown down.
He flashed too, this time.
Yeah, Disenchanted starting to pop off in this mid lane. And he's gonna need to keep that up. He is the hope for his team. As Pike with the pull in, Pike putting down the damage, Zaya putting down the right.
He's gonna get killed.
Oh, that's a big laser out of Luxan, and the Mighty Wolf goes down to the ranged creeps.
Wow.
And now we see Captain Space Force coming in. They've got some nice CC down onto Thor here, who is one hit away. Can they find him? Yes! they can. The red buff gets the kill.
Oh. Bradle out of Gabe, and great flash out of Bootmaster Spiffy. The worst part about Pyke is that you can flash out of his ulti, and he was rendered useless. That was huge. If they hadn't gotten that, that probably would have been a double kill in favor of Ornhub. Good job out of Spiffy to flash quickly.
Yeah, that's a huge play that we expected this bot lane to just be a stomping by Wolf and Sensory after that level 2 kill. And now kills are even. Gold is pretty close to even. They're weathering the storm in the bot lane, gaining advantages. TFF is doing a lot right now.
Yeah. Something we're not used to saying, I guess. Especially, normally from the bot lane, they've been struggling a little bit more. Besides the regular Fred getting caught out. I think something big from this game, that Captain Space Force, I'm still never going to get used to calling him that, is playing a lot more proactively. He didn't gank often in the last game on his Udyr. To be fair, Udyr not the greatest ganking champion. But so far 1, 2, and 2, doing okay. Trying to keep up with his counterpart.
If Thor hadn't been feasting on top lane for so long, we'd maybe be looking at this as a pretty solid performance out of Captain Space Force. But there's only so much you can do with the enemies. Ooh! Nice damage coming out, but here comes Thor, forcing Gabe way out of this fight. Now a lot of damage coming out, but the laser once again, big damage to get the kill into Sentry. And there are no kills there for Ornhub, and now to Mighty Wolf alone. He's got to run out of this one. As once again, Ornhub gets caught going in too far, and they get killed by the counterfight.
Sensory is really disrespecting how squishy this new champion is. He can't last that long. Lux is a really good champion into him, which is why I would have preferred seeing a Lux Morgana. But right now it's working for them, and I can't say anything else about it.
Yeah, Disenchanted wants the tower dive, but do you know what that champ's ultimate does? Apparently he did not, and now Thor is here. Does not have an ult available though, and there's no slow that lands on a Beyblade. But this is going to turn into a clowny game as the Pyke has arrived. They're trying to get the spear. Captain Space Force able to flash up, but he gets pulled in, put his head on a Pyke. But Gabe O'Neal, oh, the Zionist is on the right top, but this is going to be big. The laser! Oh, Gabe times that perfectly, and now this fight breaking out. We've got Thor trying to 1v3. He is not going to make it out of this fight alive. Gabe O'Neal, 4-0 here.
Oh. Right now I'm really disappointed in Ornhub. They're playing right into TFF's hand to just make this as clowny as possible. This team, we already know, doesn't have a game plan. And right now, they're just getting to run around the map and slightly win fights. Disenchanted started that off by poorly thinking he could execute a tower dive. Disrespecting the champion, Lissandra. I don't think Lissandra's very good, but she can do one thing, and lock a person down.
And now Disenchanted finds the Mighty Wolf pushed way off into no man's land. I've heard this champ, there is no running away. The Mighty Wolf gonna try his damage. He flashes anyways. That was a god awful one. Now Beyblade here, a little late. I thought they were gonna commit to that, but alright, well, regardless, another easy kill here for Table for 4 as Disenchanted just catches Wolf with his pants down on this roam, and now this is a fiesta, man.
This might be Wolf's worst game of SPL, really. 1-3-1 on Zaya?
Yeah, this is not normal for... Oh, but we got another fight. We don't have a chance here. As Gabe O'Neal gets shut down very early in this fight, but this might still go all right for just before. They're 1-for-1. They're chasing down a Sentry GG. He is... Bleh! Dead!
Dead!
And
that was
Gabe
a really nice
just
pillar.
The bait.
Yep. He probably didn't have to die there, but 2 for 1, not bad. As they continue to get small advantages, it's still pretty messy and only a 700 gold lead, but little by little, these small advantages become bigger. Sure. Oh, Spiffy's dead.
Despite all of that, they get the first turret. Gets a flash out of Spiffy, and he might make it out of this one. Now, Captain Space Force here, they've gotten Messiah. And remember when I said that was a bad flash in the last fight? Cost him his life in the next one.
Wow.
And they're still trying to chase down Thor here, just waiting out these cooldowns. Thor running over his move speed is enough. Yes, it will be. But it's a Mighty Wolf 1-4-1. This is not something we normally see out of the Mighty Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh no, Sensory disrespects
okay.
the hook, but he dodges.
Yeah, the only way Pike dies in that situation is probably if the Lux can get a combo off at the same time. It's been working for them so far. 4-1 on this Lux. Gabe's doing pretty well.
Yeah, Gabe is playing super, super well. And I'm really happy to say, you know, we said when Gabe first joined this team that maybe that was the change this team needed to get more competitive. Obviously, we dropped Gabe O'Neal straight into the Super Clown meta. He hasn't played an 80 carry yet for this team.
No, he's played Lux twice.
He played Ezreal once, actually.
Oh, yeah. That was a game Vladimir, right? he died to Vladimir a couple times, realized ADCs, some of them aren't that great and can get blown up by Vladimir. So he's just playing Lux to get even farther ranged. Something I want to say about the bot lane, they did pick this lane really early. They picked this Ornn to win lane and stomp them. But I keep saying Ornn, Pike's really been not great. It's just been, it got countered by the Lux.
Yeah, it has not looked like what they needed. And now, once again, nice hook coming through as we've got both these teams going in. Irelia trying to get onto the backline. They get Game again. What else can they get? It's a 1-for-1 as the Thor damage has been taken out of this fight. Now this is looking good for Ornhub. Regardless, though, as they're pushing forward onto Spiffy. 3-for-1 in favor of Ornhub.
Getting caught out without their jungler. That was a uneven fight. Just greedy, I guess.
Yeah, these have been very chaotic team fights.
Yeah. And now Ornhub's in the lead just because they have better objective control. They have pretty much minimal damage mid tower. Bot tower has taken, like, all of their towers have taken the exact same amount. They haven't been able to group anywhere. They don't have a strong enough lane. Craig getting caught out. He's getting stuck on.
Yeah, now Captain Space Force. Ooh, gets pulled over the wall, has the flash back onto the Mighty Wolf. Ooh, trying to ult out of that one, but Mighty Wolf with his 5th death of the game. As he's probably going to get chased down here. Alright, so we've got 1-for-1 at this one. Wait, everyone, they're coming in from every angle, but Gabe finally shows up, gets the snare. That's a kill onto the Pike. And another clowny series of kills that I don't think turn into any objectives. Alright.
Yeah. They might get mid off this. They're one mid. I see by the things. Beyblade still has his Lissandra ulti and TP, so if they wanted, they could get a flank, but ooh.
Yeah, but now it looks like they want to try to dive.
He's dead.
Wolf, and of course they kill Wolf because every time Wolf gets found, he's been killed this game. And that's, I think, going to be the mid-tier one, but Thor and Beyblade are here. And they're barely going to hold this turret.
Cowards. Just, I guess, respecting the Lissandra ulti still, but they shouldn't have been able to do anything.
I feel like Table for 4 could have taken that, but I don't blame them for playing safe for maybe the first time ever.
Especially this game, everything's just been going so fast, it's hard to keep track. They are going to get this turret in the end.
Now, all's well that ends well as Ornhub abandoned that one after having all the bodies in the neighborhood. And we are 18 minutes in and we got an even game still.
Man, that's hard to believe. After we talked so much about how Pornhub's bot lane is by far superior in terms of skill, but I do think the champions are playing a big part in this, and Pike's not working out. Thankfully for them, Thor is massive on this Nocturne, so they still have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, but they got to do something with that fairly fast, I feel like. You know, this is not a pick that's going to be for the 35 plus minutes. They got to abuse Thor's advantage soon, and it's going to be really hard to get Sensory GG. Or sorry, not Sensory GG, to pop back up. But speaking of Sensory GG, though, maybe getting caught out here. Gets chunked out a bit.
A little bit of damage. But he heals it back up as it's Pike.
Yeah, I'm not super used to following the Pike.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him Ornn at least 6 more times, I'm sure. So.
We'll see, just a chance to get some good damage out of this bot lane. Freg trying to push onto this top lane. I think he's able to take this turret, and yeah, on the wins, realizes he's got to give that one up. So we see 2-2 on turrets. Gold, only a few hundred apart.
This is not what we expected at all.
And now Nocturne ulting in. They want to up the tempo here, but they are a little outnumbered in this fight. And more than a little outnumbered. It is a 2 versus 4. Sinister Beyblade has no chance of getting this one. Essentially just stalling for time here, but that is a 2 for 0 with ease for Table for 4. And they're going to get that win drag while they're in the neighborhood.
Freg gets to just keep pushing top lane. Sinister Beyblade even using teleport. Oh. No, they're not.
Maybe we found the way for Table for 4 to play. Give Freg the true split pusher. Let the other 4 just go and do their thing.
Maybe.
And Ornhub had been playing so badly into this. Table for 4 capitalizing on all of these pick situations.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting a little bit frustrated. A bit panicked, especially to go onto the Trundle. The Trundle's by far the tankiest member on this team. He's got the Cinderhulk, he's got the Jarm's Fist, and the Titanic Hydra. You're not gonna kill him. He just picked up the Titanic.
Yeah, and I agree about panicked, because a few wards just got dropped, but like 20 seconds ago you could have looked at Ornhub's vision. There was essentially nothing. Just nothing. That's the sign of a team that is not communicating well, that is tilted. And Ornhub, we expected to look really good with this full starting roster, but we're now finding out what happens to this team when they have to face adversity, and it hasn't looked good so far.
Yeah. And you still... We dragged on and on about how bad this team, Table for 4's macro was, but right now, it's because they've kind of been playing into this crazy just keep team fighting mentality. Ornhub hasn't been able to get any advantages, and Irelia still a pretty good champion.
Yeah, I think their macro has been fine enough. It's obviously not great, but not many SBL teams have great macro these days. They have mostly been playing around what their comp wants to do and just happily taking the advantages. That being said, they're not up a lot of gold. It is 22 minutes, and there's still plenty of opportunity for this game to change. But they are going deep here. They have popped a lot of money. They did not get the kill, and now this looks like the turn. The Lux Laser didn't do a whole lot, and we've already gotten 2 kills going over to Ornhub. I think that's the end of this fight, though. But that gives them a chance to stabilize this map pressure a bit.
Yeah, huge mistake to just try to first
Wind.
off engage. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Wind is going to find out why Jax was banned from fighting with a real weapon. He's going to pop his ults for funsies, but there's no one coming to save his life here.
He's dead.
And Freg gets the easy solo kill there. Meanwhile, off the back of that one fight, Ornhub can't actually do anything, because in a 4v2 in the mid lane, they couldn't push onto Gabe O'Neal's Lux.
Yeah. That fight was really bad because they tried to go on to Wolf under tier 2, where their team can really punish them. Wolf isn't... Insight, he's 3 and 6, but his ulti still makes him invulnerable. One of the hardest people to engage on as an ADC. Thankfully for them, Freg won that 1v1, or they wouldn't have gotten anything.
Oof, indeed.
Still scary. Who's gonna... If Win keeps dying, they have to try to find picks around the map with this Nocturne and the not the Aurelia, the Sandra.
The Sandra, even the Pike. Yeah, it's just...
And I really dislike the GA buy from Pike. I've seen a couple people do it, but the main strategy for playing Pike is normally going just resistances, like going the Pike's can cut.
Oh, that was a greedy ward clear. Now Sentry GG loses his splash for it.
I was saying they go Righteous Glory. I've seen a lot. Gargoyle Stoneplate is pretty good. Just innate tankiness stuff, not Hex Drinker. Till later normally. But
and another thing, the slow temple, I feel like benefits table for 4 more than it benefits Ornhub. I feel like table for 4 is going to outscale even without the carry. But
nice key,
maybe that doesn't matter if they're going to chunk out Space Force. Thor going forward with it. Oh,
he's alone.
That was bad out of Thor. But on the way now going forward, maybe it did work as they're getting Humash going to be so low, but they're not able to finish off here. Summoner's pop by Gabe O'Neal, and this fight ultimately disengaged. But the snare from down on Sentry, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of these teams re-engage. Now, disenchanting played so far forward. He's looking for something. He's dashing. And by the way, we have a Jax pushing solo on the far side of the map, and there's a wall straight from downtown. The damage is now coming through. And here comes Frank from behind the tower. And it was a long fight. It was an awkward fight. But it is a 0-4-5 in favor of table for 4.
wow.
Yeah, hard to see where that all came from.
I guess again they couldn't kill the Trundle fast enough. Trundle very tanky champion, and they're just gonna pick up Thor again. Wow.
Yeah, and Thor quickly approaching my wing's record for the fastest you can tank a insanely positive KD down to an even KD. As I feel like Nocturne's power window is past.
It has. It's getting blown up, especially going in alone there. He hoped his team could follow up, but they don't have the right champions for that. Exactly. Yeah. Sensory missed his ulti. He wanted to finish off the Trundle, but he was healing too much, so it's hard. Especially now, that GA that he has, useless. It's gone. And Echo still doesn't have pressure against Freg's Jax, and Jax has the TP advantage. Do I think he's going to use it correctly? Probably not, but besides the point.
Well, he was still pushing well. This team was playing around it well. I think this is a really easy situation where Jax goes bot lane, and the 4 either go top or they go to Baron. They let the supers do their thing mid. They've got a 7,000 gold advantage. I mean, this is a pretty simple scenario to play out for table for 4. And maybe more importantly, we haven't seen Ornhub do really anything smart in a while now on the macro side.
Yeah. The early turrets they had, the early 2 turrets, they haven't gotten any other turrets since then. They've gotten top low, but not enough pressure in there. And in terms of just the solid 1v1, neither of the solo laners can match. And they have to rely on them staying far enough back where Nocturne can come pick one. Pick one of their champions. But right now it's just defensive and hope that TFF makes a mistake.
So the pressure has been established here, and it looks like this is going to be a Baron started. Sentry just now gets the ward. Remember, this is not there, and he gets in here pretty fast. So if they want to contest this, they need to probably start teleporting. I think they should probably back up this Baron because they have to make pressure in the bot lane. But table for 4, maybe trying to go for the home run play here. So they're trying to get Baron and the inhibitor at the same time. They're outnumbered to this Baron because the Baron is low. And Jax still not teleporting. Here goes Nocturne teleporting in. But Thor still gets popped. It's 5 versus 4. Ornhub is losing it. There's a big laser from the back like Gabe O'Neal gets some nice damage out. But it may not matter, but Disenchanted going forward, he's killing everybody. And in a 5 versus 4, they get the ace, they get the inhibitor,
This is
and
game.
I think that's game over. What an embarrassing, shameful way for Ornhub to lose this one. And what did we say before this game? If one of these bottom 3 teams could crack a win against one of these top 3 teams in this back-to-back, it could be huge for separating themselves from the pack. We have just seen a new table for 14 here with Gabe O'Neill on the roster. Maybe they have finally found their way to play League of Legends.
Really well played with them. I still think Fred could have teleported in, but it obviously didn't matter. Irelia was at that point. She super ahead, Triforce Sterix, Tiamat, and just did a lot of damage. Crazy.
Yeah, I think we gotta pull Disenchanted here after this one. Sorry to let my boy Adonis down, but Disenchanted popping off on that Irelia.
Really solid pick that helped his team get together. Got the solo kill early on, and overall just had better pressure. He killed the Mighty Wolf several times, I believe, too. Yeah, Irelia, pretty strong champion, and I think there's a lot for Ornhub to learn next week, and I'm excited because this means there will have to be learning in the drafting strategy. I don't like get rid of this Pike. It didn't work out. Maybe you can consider getting rid of Lux. Do we have Disenchanted coming? Okay. Yeah. It's hard to say. They banned 2 of Freg's champions, which is reasonable. You want Win to be able to fight, but you maybe put him onto a tank. Probably don't prioritize the Echo. It'll be a lot different. Okay, he's coming. I'll look at the damage graphs quick. Lux did end up doing the most damage, and really pretty close. His ults were pretty good in team fights. I think he did a lot. Gabe did. Having connection issues. Okay. We could, well. Yeah.
User joined your channel.
Oh, I thought I maybe forgot the password. Hey, who are the casters for the third game?
Still in the. We're waiting for the interviewee for the second
really?
game.
User
bad.
joined your channel.
Alright.
Hello.
Here, hello.
User left your channel.
Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a very solid Irelia pick. You kind of crushed Sinister Beyblade and in there getting the solo kill. How'd it feel?
Felt pretty good. I mean, I actually entered into him not too long after that under the tower there, but I guess I kind of just saw my opportunity, overextended a little bit, and I was like, oh, I have Ignite, I can kill this guy.
And was there a point in this game where your team felt like you had full control and were just gonna win, or how did that feel for you guys?
Yeah, definitely towards the end, after we started winning some fights and I started getting really fed, and we kind of made that like Rift Herald where we got a couple towers off of that correctly. But yeah, after that, once I went back and bought my Sterex gauge, I was like, okay, we're probably gonna win this game. We just have to have Frag. I've KS'd enough kills at this point. We just gotta have you know, Frag split push, and then we can just pressure Baron, and this game should be over.
Yeah. And Freg actually brought TP this game. Was that something Freg decided to do himself? Did you guys?
Yes, it was his own. It was his own decision. We didn't tell him to do that. Surprisingly enough, actually no. I won't reveal our secret.
Oh, the
We had
secrets.
we had a little
Okay.
we had a little thing. Something happened with Freg.
That's
That's you know, positive, and he's bringing it. He's bringing it these past few weeks. Really excited going forward.
yeah. Not sure if Swift has any questions.
Do you think Crad will ever nerf Irelia?
Yeah. Tomorrow.
I just don't. I don't think it matters how much you nerf Irelia. She's always gonna be Irelia. So there you go.
You can't argue with that. So congrats on the win, a big one for you guys. And
Yeah.
I guess that does it for game 2, guys. So thanks for sticking with us. We'll be back here in just a moment for game 3. We've got Back in Our Day versus the other bad team whose name I don't remember, and I closed my notes. So stay tuned.